Hi, I'm Carla Mader, and I'm with Burning Heart Band, a heart tribute band out of Pittsburgh, and happy to be on Chaotic Biff's TV.
Chaotic Riff TV, and Carla's got her bandmate Krissy Jo. We're going to be talking to both of them, and this is Chaotic Riff TV Special Editions, Episode 5. Each month, once a month, we do this show, and we have somebody come on, talk about a different aspect of the music business. And you guys are the first time on this show that we've interviewed somebody from a tribute band. So thanks for coming on. I guess Carla, from what I understand, this band's been around for about a year. Is that correct? And you're one that you're the founding member. So why don't we have you start telling how the band came together?
Sure, sure. Yeah, actually, back in 2023, I was asked to audition for sort of an all-around 80s rock band
Okay.
that was being put together. And I had been in a couple smaller bands, acoustic duets, and I was really excited. I auditioned with 9 other singers, so they called me back a second time and a third time, and I won the role of the lead singer to this 80s band. So, after a little bit of time, we were still putting the band together, looking for a keyboard player and this and that. They said, "Wow, you can sing Ann Wilson. We should make this a heart tribute." The drummer at the time had been in a Doors tribute, years ago, so he was familiar with, the tribute band scene,
Sure, sure.
and that's how it all got started. And then it just sort of evolved from there, and we needed a Nancy, so we actually found Krissy Jo, so I'll let her introduce herself too. But
Krissy Jo,
um,
tell the story of how you came to how the band discovered you. Were you playing with another band, or what's your story?
All right, hi, I'm Krissy Jo, and super excited to be on Chaotic's Riff TV. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Riffs
Riff
TV.
TV. Yeah.
Can we edit that out, please?
Don't worry, don't worry. Yeah, I'll have a guy in it. But yeah, Categories TV. That's beautiful. That's the name. We love it. But you guys are our guest today, so yeah, we're interested in knowing how you came to join the band, or did they find you?
So they actually found me. Carla reached out online, actually, through some videos that were being shared with my other band, and uh, she was like, "Hey, I have a heart band, and we really would love to have you come audition for the Nancy role." And I was like, actually kind of blown away by
Mhm.
this opportunity. So I'm super, super excited. Um, I'm not really into the Pittsburgh music scene that much yet because I'm actually 45 minutes north. So I kind of do all my music north of Pittsburgh. And just to kind of have that opportunity even was super, super exciting. So I went down, auditioned at their practice space, super nervous. Our bass player, Patty, actually met me downstairs, and I didn't bring my guitar with me at first. And she goes, "Where's your guitar?" And I was like, "It's in the car. I don't know if I want to bring it in." And she's like, "No, go get it." So, anyways, I did. And she kind of like gave me a little bit of support and made me feel really comfortable with the band. Like,
Wow.
okay, this isn't so stiff. I don't have to be so nervous, although my palms were very sweaty and they're sweaty talking about it now, just kind of
Yeah.
reliving that experience. But
And,
um,
and it's kind of funny looking at you guys like you look somewhat like Nancy Wilson and Carla looks somewhat like Ann Wilson. You guys aren't dead ringers, but I like anybody to look and they know what part what part you're playing it, so to speak. Let me ask you, girls, were you much into Heart before this band, or did you kind of have to learn the material?
oh,
so
oh,
I
hi.
definitely was into Heart, and that was not too hard. I mean, Heart has a huge catalog of music, plethora of albums, and but I had been doing some Heart songs ever since ever with
Yeah.
all of my bands actually. So it wasn't that hard to kind of pick up and learn um the other songs on guitar. And
Okay. How about you,
the
Carla?
only biggest switch for me obviously was doing the harmony part versus lead part. Because and that's kind of what Nancy does mostly
Sure.
with that, other than these dreams, which has one of the most beautiful lyrics in it. So actually that was Heart's first number one hit was These Dreams.
Oh wow, wow. Yeah, and speaking about, whenever people today think of Heart, probably they either mention, These Dreams or Alone, because those are like the two big radio hits. But if you really go back and dissect, the whole catalog, they got some kick-ass everything from, Magic Man and Barracuda. I mean, Barracuda is about as metal as Heart gets.
Yeah, it's rocking for sure.
Yeah.
So
And how about you,
Yeah,
Carla?
so
Were you much of a
yeah, so
Heart fan?
oh, absolutely. Growing up in the, 80s and just they were my favorite band. And Ann Wilson was such an inspiration, just her operatic voice
Sure.
and just the variety of things that they did. And, I like the rock and roll and I love the ballad. So
Sure.
always love Heart. That way I definitely was my inspiration. And in the acoustic duet that I was in before, we had done, I think we did Alone and What About Love. So near and dear to my heart. So when I joined, the '80s band, they had me doing a lot of guy songs. We were doing some Warrant, Skid Row, and Cheap Trick, and um, just a myriad of, and of course, like the '80s rocker ladies. We were doing Pat Benatar, Stevie Nicks, Joan Jett. But when we did the hard songs, it just resonated with me, and I think that just came through to the other band members. They're like, whoa. So yeah, definitely. All of their albums span decades, like 5 decades. I had always gone to the Heart concerts when they
Yeah.
came in, and so yes, definitely yes.
Yeah, and let me ask you, you're saying the band started out kind of as a cover band doing 80s rock. Now, I was interested, that's an interesting type of gig because as a singer, like you said, you're covering maybe John Bon Jovi, Janie Lane, all these male singers. And
Yeah.
I'm sure if you're a good enough singer, you can deliver the goods. But the thing about being in a cover band is a lot of times you're playing the tunes that people grew up on. This is a soundtrack to our lives, if you will. And so
Mhm.
it's a fun gig because not only are you playing music that your audience grew up on, a lot of it's probably what you grew up on, but um, people go and see the band play. They know all those songs. It's no problem getting them rocking, probably. But in a Heart tribute, do you prefer like being in a Heart tribute for the simple fact that you don't have to learn all these songs by different artists, but you're just paying tribute to one artist as opposed to being in a cover band?
Yeah, I mean, I do like it more than I thought I would because
Yeah,
I do like variety and I love to be challenged and sing. But Heart has plenty of challenging songs
sure, sure.
and challenging music, and I just am really enjoying it. I just love it, and the tribute scene just seemed to explode in Pittsburgh and just all over the world. Really,
Mm.
you see these world famous tributes, so very exciting to me. So yes, yeah, I really enjoy it because they have everything from the little bit harder songs, like harder rock songs, to the really slow ballads, like and the Nancy songs. She does like probably six or seven,
Yeah,
and some of them were B-sides and all that, but uh, just beautiful variety of
sure,
of
sure.
music.
And Krissy Jo, you mentioned besides having to do those beautiful lead guitar parts as Nancy Wilson, you also are responsible for the background sound of the band. I mean, is that something that's new to you? I mean, talk a little bit about having to be responsible for both the guitar and the background vocal.
So like I said, yeah, that was a new role for me to take on, but it's actually not that hard. Once I kind of got a grasp on what I was doing,
Sure.
like relearning the parts, because then I realized, well, this is actually kind of like how I listen to and sing along to these songs in the
Anyway,
car.
yeah.
Um, I find myself harmonizing, with the and part. So it kind of just like worked out, I guess.
Yeah, and let me ask you, Carla, what's it like when you guys perform live? I mean, as far as or is the audience really critical? Or are they watching your every move? Like, that's not how Ann sings, or that's not how Ann moves when she's on stage.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on stage and you're performing, I mean, it's just electric for me. I just
Yeah,
love
yeah,
the audience, and you can just see it in their faces that they
yeah.
enjoy it, and you can tell the Heart fans. And our last performance at the Hard Rock a couple of weeks back, I just asked the audience, how many of you guys are really diehard Heart fans? Because we had another band opening for us, and they were pretty good. But yeah, you can just really tell that they really enjoy it. I feel like. Singing along. As far as critical, after the shows, I get a lot of feedback, and I get a lot of compliments that you sound like Anne, and I haven't had too much criticism, I guess.
That's good. 'Cause, yeah, I ask only
Thus far.
because I guess it depends too, who you're paying tribute to. But for example, I interviewed somebody once in a AC/DC tribute band. They were telling me, like for example, AC/DC fans are real critical. Like, hey, you know, that's not how Angus Young plays that song. You missed a lick here or whatever. And it just kind of depends because some fans are really kind of they're really right dead on. But that's I
Well, I'll
like
tell you, sorry, as a Heart fan myself, I sing the songs as closely as I can to Anne. I mean, I have a little bit of my own style, but I really feel like that's what the audience wants to hear.
yeah.
So I pay really close attention to, I'm always learning and studying the songs, and I always pick up new things. So, I feel like that's probably part of it that I don't get a lot of criticism. And as far as like her mannerisms on stage and dress, it's just like she has spanned decades. I just saw
Sure.
them in May. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as far as her dress, you get the 80s hair and all of that. So it really spans a decade. So people don't seem to be too critical because they wouldn't even know what to say.
And Heart is they've had many ups and downs, and they've always been a popular band, but like there are several years, last couple of years where they haven't even toured. So I'd imagine if you're a Heart tribute
Mhm.
band, when they weren't touring, um, business but probably pretty
Mhm.
good because people weren't able to go out and see the real thing. So it's like you guys are the equivalent to, I guess, the next best thing.
Yeah, they had canceled their tour. Like we were one of the last shows in Pittsburgh, and I don't even know how many venues they had. It was probably 200. Like Europe, they still had like half the United States tour in Europe, but Anne um became sick, or I think she
Whatever.
was
Yeah.
public with cancer again. So yeah, I think people enjoy it, and so far so good.
Yeah.
At least in our area, we're the only Heart tribute band in this area, and there's really just a handful in the United
Yeah,
States.
let me ask, why do you think that is? I mean, because again, Heart's a popular band and they have a
Mhm.
great catalog of music. Do you think it's just if you're a singer, you got to be able to kind of nail it, or
The singing, but I'll tell you the music and the feedback I've gotten from the musicians, which we can talk about those in a little bit in
sure.
the band. We've with some really great musicians, and you know, our drummer in particular, Brian was like, you start taking this apart, it's really hard. He's like, I'll challenge anybody. So it's just the way, they compose the music. It's almost like they did it so it'd be really difficult for anyone to reproduce it.
Yeah,
So I think it's a combination of both. You got to have some real, I think, talented musicians to pull it off. And vocally, it's extremely challenging. I mean, Anne's range is incredible. So,
what's your throat like
I
after
think
a
that's a
night of
big part of it.
performing? Like when you come off stage.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard, when I started out doing, thinking, okay, one set, two sets, and I had to really train my voice. I've had a lot of vocal lessons the last couple years to really learn how to transition. So I think learning to sing properly was a big thing for me, versus straining. A couple of years ago, I used to feel like I was cheating if I didn't really try to belt everything. And I just learned that like Anne doesn't even do that. She
Yeah, yeah.
uses her head. So yeah, not too bad. Our last show, Krissy and I were both recovering from, I had pneumonia and she had some laryngitis, but we pulled it off. But yeah, that was really tough
Yeah.
trying to breathe and So,
And I'll ask both of you like about your dress, your costumes, whatever you want to call it when you're up on stage. Um, are those outfits that are specifically bought for the band, or just out of your closet at home?
well,
Um,
we tried. Go ahead, Chrissy.
that's okay.
I can't hear.
Yeah, I guess what I was asking is like you the clothes you get up dressed up on stage is just clothes you have at home, or are they outfits you specifically bought for when you're performing?
Okay, so for me, like I said, Heart has been such a huge influence musically for me and style, okay? Like before I ever thought I would be a Nancy in a Heart tribute band, I have always appreciated her style. So it was quite funny to be asked to audition for this band, and I didn't even have to go shopping. I just looked in my closet and this is what I wear. This is because I use her style, mixed with a couple other
Yeah,
musicians. And that's it's easy for me because
yeah,
I love her.
yeah, sure, sure. And the other thing with this, I guess we should ask. People probably ask in the question, why go the route of a tribute band as opposed to doing original music? I'm sure you guys have done both, but talk a little bit about that.
For me, so I do have my original band. I just do both. So I have the tribute band, and then I'm a part of my band, and I help out with my friends. They have a band. I do some backup vocals for them, and they include covers and original music.
Yeah.
So I'm just living my best life
Well,
musically
that's
right
cool.
now.
Again, that's why I do interviews like this to kind of educate people on that fact that it is quite possible people can do both. I mean, and let's be honest, it's probably your guys' experience that maybe it's a little easier to if you're in a tribute band, people know the songs, a little easier to sell tickets because a lot of times, as great as your original music may be, nobody's maybe heard the stuff before. They don't know any of the songs maybe until they come and see you perform for the first time. That's just kind of the state of the business these days.
Right.
I mean, how about you,
Yeah,
Carla? Have you done the original music thing?
I haven't. I've had some songwriters present some things, and I just haven't found anything that resonates.
Yeah.
So, I am talking with one of the local studio owners
Yeah.
who says, he could kind of probably maybe produce some of the things that I like. So definitely it's something I'm interested in. I just sort of, fell into all of this. Like the,
Yeah, accidentally. I mean, it's fun. It's fun too
yeah,
because why should you not be able to do both? I mean, and in a lot of cases, it's a way to pay the bills. Okay, well, this, like I said, we can go do a couple gigs on the weekend and make a little bit of money. Not going to get rich off of it, but it allows you to do your original music thing kind of behind the scenes. And I mean, I have a girl I've interviewed out here in Los Angeles. She's in an all female Led Zeppelin tribute band, and
okay,
and that's what kind of makes them special out here in LA. They're like the premier all female band, and I don't think there's another one around for miles. And she's got a beautiful voice, and she's working on a solo album, and it's just like I said, they pack the clubs, and they're able to get people to come check it out, and behind the scenes, she's doing her original music and getting it out. Yeah.
yeah. So definitely. And then the backup as far as costume, yeah, I pretty much definitely studied a lot of the videos throughout the decades and definitely shopped for, the roles. So,
And,
it's just kind of like, what look do you want to
yeah.
do? Because they span decades.
And as we sit here doing this, there's the fact that this is our tribute band. There's no question in my mind that you're Ann will you play the role of Ann and you play the role of Nancy. Like I said, you guys aren't dead ringers, but like that's another thing. Like a lot of times, you might be in a club or something, playing a concert. Somebody hears the music playing. Maybe they have no idea it's a Heart tribute. Heart's playing here tonight. Have you ever been mistaken or somebody come up to you thinking you were Ann or Nancy Wilson?
I actually have a couple of times.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
I sent like videos or
Yeah.
something, and from other musicians.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I really thought that was Anne, and I don't think I sound exactly like her, but similar enough. And I think I've just trained my voice to try to sing like her. But
So
yeah,
I must,
I've had that
yeah,
happen. Yes.
I asked because I must tell you, in prepping for this interview today, I went on your YouTube and I was checking out some of your live performances. And
Okay.
again,
Yeah.
somebody doesn't know exactly what they've come across. Um, you'd almost, I mean, the look of the band, the performances, the sound, the vocals, you'd almost swear it was hard. And that's why I call this rock and roll theater, because my all-time favorite tribute bands are not only the ones that get up there and kind of just, in their jeans and t-shirts and they just perform the songs. That's fun too, but I love the bands that kind of get into the look, get into the sound, and you close your eyes and you swear it's 1974 all over again.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Yeah, that's a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was a very beautiful compliment. Actually, probably one of the best ones I've ever heard from the band. So
And,
that's super to get.
and in fact, another
You don't
thing,
know us really truly from Adam, so thank you for that.
yeah, and again, this is just something I picked up on, in doing research on the band last night. I noticed a lot of the ads that you two are kind of front and center. Let's be honest, our tribute band. So
Mhm.
you guys are, and Nancy. That's what people think of when they think of Heart. Do other guys in the band, how do they feel about that? Do they feel they get their fair dues, so to speak?
Oh yeah. I mean, I get a lot of, we don't want to be seen or,
Yeah.
it's about you guys. We're just the music. But we do have some new photos, a new website coming out and things like that, new group pictures. So
I
you'll be
believe
seeing more
great
of
looking
it.
photos of you guys, so no complaints. Yeah,
Yeah, if you peruse our Facebook page enough, you'll see a
sure,
little more.
sure.
But yeah, lately the ads have just been, you know, just the leading ladies,
Yeah,
as
and
we are called.
I will say, professional looking ads too. You guys take a lot of pride in what you do, so great job
Thank
there.
you.
Yeah, and do you guys
Thanks.
do you play outside of your area or just stay pretty local?
So far local, but we do have plans to, do a little bit of touring. I mean, that's the goal,
Okay, and
definitely.
I understand, Carla, you're the founding member, so I'll ask you. Uh, Krissy Jo was sharing with me that the band was together about a year, I think, and then she joined. I was telling her one thing I loved about the band, Burning Heart, the name. I mean, it's not an obvious choice. You might think they go with Magic Man or Barracuda, name of the song.
Right.
Talk about that, because again, it's not the obvious choice, but it is.
Yeah, yeah. The original band, like with the 80s band, and through attrition, you lose members and gain members, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
So one of the original guitarists actually named it, and it wasn't after the Survivor song. It was after the Vander.
Well, hey, let me tell you
Um,
a funny story, Carla. Before you came on, or you logged on, me and Krissy Jo were talking offline, and I was telling her when I heard the name Burning Heart, I thought this must be an Adrian Vandenberg tribute band. He was a
I
guitar
know
player
that's
for Snake,
we
and
get that a lot.
Their big hit was Burning Heart. Did you ever play that with the other band?
We didn't. We talked about it, but we
Oh,
actually never got to it. But yeah, it just sort of stuck, I liked it and
yeah,
um
yeah. Apparently, it hasn't been a problem. But, I mean, how funny would that be if somebody seen the name Burning Heart and they thought they were gonna go see a tribute band to Vandenberg?
we try to say a tribute to Hart after the
Yeah, yeah,
after the name.
again, that's what I kind of loved about the name, because I had one thought initially when I just hearing the name, and then when I realized it's our tribute, I said, that's a cool name. It's because it's not the obvious choice like a Barracuda named after a song, and yet it's telling people what it is. We're a heart tribute.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess the final question I'll ask you, ladies, what's the hardest thing about putting on a heart show like this? Paying tribute to one of your all-time favorite bands.
I'll go ahead and start.
Go
Go ahead.
So
ahead, Christy.
the hardest part is actually just making sure that I'm resonating to my best Nancy that I can. And then also incorporating the similar choreography that we can. So, every show we're adding something new that hey, I saw this on live in Seattle. So, we're going to try this or something like that. And I think it's made me a definitely better musician. Like I said, I've learned a lot more guitar than I've ever done in my life. And actually, one of our lead guitarists, Tony, he's really helping me out a lot with that. So I'm super grateful for that and him. But it's just ultimately not time wasted at all. Has made me a better musician because of it. So I'm super grateful.
Yeah, yeah. How about you? How about you, Carla? Either you could share what's difficult or what you enjoy the most about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the challenge is trying to produce that sound, the overall sound. And we all play our individual parts,
Sure.
and their music is just so awesome. So I think, just like Krissy Jo said, just really trying to reproduce that and put on a good show. So when somebody leaves, they're like, wow, I felt like I was at a Heart concert, like you said. So
Yeah.
just the overall sound, I would think. But
Okay,
I love all of it though.
here's a real true last question. This just popped in my head as we're talking. I was curious. Okay, yeah, the original Heart band's like 5 members. So I was curious. You guys have 8 members in your band, so talk about that.
Well, yeah. So it just sort of so we were on a search for Nancy, right? So we auditioned many people. So Krissy Jo is pretty awesome, I have to say that. Um, so basically, we need I needed some backup vocal support. And, with the Nancy role, I mean, Krissy Jo has big shoes to fill. I mean, the acoustic guitar, playing electric guitar. So we needed another rhythm guitarist. Excuse me. So, we have the drums, of course, then we have
Okay.
bass player, lead guitarist, rhythm guitarist, keyboard player, backup singer, and then us two. So it just sort of
Okay.
evolved that way, to
That's
answer your
cool though.
question.
It
And
sounds like
honestly, the original band Heart, I mean, they all, especially in the early days, they were all mic'd up. Like the whole band was singing like Heartless. If you go
do
back
because
and
it
look at
makes it
that
a little
video.
different. It fattens up the sound a little. And
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
ask you, Carla.
exactly.
So out of all the people you auditioned, what made Krissy Jo stand out? Or, you know,
Well, I think just her stage presence and the look, of course, and her talent on the guitar and her vocal talent. I mean, that's a heavy role to fill, I think. It's
yeah.
just difficult. And we've auditioned some really decent people. A lot
Oh,
of them
sure,
were,
sure.
women who did originals. But you really have to be proficient at all of those things, because Nancy is just an incredible guitarist
Yeah.
and vocalist. So,
And very
yeah.
much like the band she was joining, the whole package. I mean, you guys together, when you get up on that stage, I guess it's just the whole package, all 8 of you together.
Yeah, yeah, it is big, but you get more of the like you said, the more complete sound, I think. And with
Well,
all
Carla and
the
Krissy Jo, thanks for coming on Categories
Oh,
TV.
you're welcome.
This will be
Thank
going up.
you.
I'm going to try to get up by Monday. I'll let you guys know. Feel free to share it, and you're welcome back anytime. In fact, maybe next time we will have you come back, and we can talk about your favorite Heart album if you want to do that. So think about that, okay?
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so
Great
much,
talking to you,
Jason.
ladies. Bye.
Thanks so much for
Bye.
having us. Have a good
Anytime.
night.
Thank you.
Bye bye.